Forbes Middle East unveils its top 30 banks in the Middle East, and the MENA region saw a six-fold year-on-year increase in IPOs in the first half. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Farad. Forbes Middle East has unveiled its top 30 banks in the Middle East 2022 ranking, recognizing the region's resilient banking heavyweights that have emerged stronger from the pandemic. To construct the list, Forbes compiled data from listed stock exchanges in the Arab world and ranked companies based on sales, profits, assets, and market value. The 30 banks had a total value of $586.6 billion and assets worth $2.5 trillion as of June 28th. Gulf banks dominate this year's ranking with 25 out of the 30 based in the GCC. Visit ForbesMiddleEast.com for the full list. The MENA region saw a six-fold year-on-year increase in IPOs in the first half of this year, with 24 IPOs raising $13.5 billion. That's according to EY. Saudi and the UAE led IPO activity, and despite concerns of a global recession, there remains a healthy pipeline of IPO candidates from both countries. EY says quieter IPO markets like Oman, Qatar, and Kuwait are looking to come to market in the future as well. The Bank of England unleashed its biggest interest rate hike since 1995 today, and forecast inflation will top 13% later this year, when the economy will enter a year-long recession. The widely expected half percentage point rate rise was the BOE's sixth straight increase since it began in December to tighten borrowing costs. They have climbed from a record low level of just above zero to 1.75% now. Carriers in the Middle East and around the world saw lower air cargo volumes in June compared with a year ago, as new export orders decreased in all markets except for China. IATA figures show cargo demand in the Middle East dropped by 10.8% year-on-year in June, while capacity was up 6.7%. Demand for the first 6 months of the year was also down by 9.3% compared to 2021, registering the weakest first-half performance of all regions. Germany's Lufthansa says it expects demand for short-haul flights in Europe to drive growth at its passenger airlines this year, forecasting a return to group operating profit for the full year. Travelers have returned to the skies, helping airlines like Lufthansa, Air France, KLM, and British Airways owner IAG to return to profit this summer. Lufthansa says bookings for August to December are now at 83% of pre-pandemic levels, and it hopes business travel bookings will reach 70% in Q4 this year. Bombardier reported a smaller Q2 loss, helped by steady demand from wealthy travelers and lower interest expenses. Bombardier now expects 2022 free cash flow of more than $515 million, compared with its earlier forecast of over $50 million. The Montreal-based company's revenues rose to $1.56 billion from $1.52 billion for Q2. Business jet makers are reporting swelling order backlogs as private flying in the U.S. remains above 2019 pre-pandemic levels. Adidas's operating profit fell by 28% in Q2 to $398.43 million as results suffered from suspending business in Russia, higher supply chain costs, and COVID lockdowns in China and Vietnam. The German sportswear firm said currency-neutral sales rose 4% in the quarter, but net income from continuing operations declined to $366.95 million from $394.35 million in the same period last year. Adidas had cut its 2022 outlook in July. Asian markets closed higher today as traders tracked a Wall Street rally and healthy U.S. data. The Hang Seng jumped 2.06% to nearly 20,200. The Shanghai Composite rose 0.8% to almost 3,200, while the Shenzhen Composite on China's second exchange climbed 0.86% to over 2,100. The Nikkei climbed 0.69% to over 27,900. Alibaba Group beat market expectations for revenue in the quarter ending in late June, even though revenue growth was flat for the first time due to the impact of the Shanghai lockdowns. Revenue stood at $30.43 billion in the quarter, compared to analysts' average expectations of $30 billion, according to Refinitiv data. Tencent reportedly plans to raise its stake in French video game group Ubisoft Entertainment as the Chinese gaming giant pivots to the global gaming market. China's largest social network and gaming firm bought a 5% stake in Ubisoft in 2018. It's reportedly reached out to the French firm's founding Guillemot family and expressed interest in increasing its stake. It's not clear how much more Tencent plans to own in Ubisoft, which is valued at $5.3 billion, but it aims to become the single largest shareholder. I'm Ramya Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.